Thank you for holding the Child Haven community in your hearts and remembering them in the midst of your turmoils and sufferings. For those of you here tonight wondering how you can make donations, the Child Haven website is a place to go after the program. We encourage everyone to spread the word to others, all those who could not join us this evening, and all those who have yet to hear about Child Haven and the wonderful work that they do. Now I'm going to turn it over to Bonnie and Fred so they can tell us how they're doing.
Great to be with you all this evening. Sorry we can't be with you in person. I'm trapped here with Bonnie, and she can be a little bossy. Fred, have you got your hearing aids? Fred, do you have your teeth in? I have to carry my own dishes to the sink. At least at the Calgary dinner, some very nice people carry away my dishes. We know the coronavirus has brought challenges to all of us, from the loss of loved ones to the loss of jobs and financial difficulties. We offer our condolences and best wishes to everyone. Bonnie and I are looking forward to the end of this pandemic when we can see you all in person again, hopefully next year. Much love to all of you from both of us. And Bonnie always wants the last word.
First of all, we want to thank you for your all our dedicated supporters who through the years have been so generous, helping the women and children in our projects overseas. You've been changing and enhancing the lives of some of the most needy children and women in the world to become outstanding citizens of their own country. Fred and I have been in lockdown for several months now, and Robin and I are unable to go overseas. But we have good staff over there, and they are following all the restrictions required to deal with the pandemic. So far, everyone is okay. I spend a lot of time on the phone and email with the managers of all the homes. But I'll be happy when this pandemic is over and we can go over again to talk with the children and staff in person. We are sending our love to all of you. Stay safe, stay well.
Next up, we have Robin Cappuccino. Robin has taken on the daunting task of keeping up with Bonnie on her many, many trips to the Child Haven homes over the past 20 years.
Thank you very much, Joyce. It was a real treat to see the kids in Calgary. I think we didn't get as good a picture as we could have, but you could tell how graceful and talented and energetic they are. Anima and I returned from our Child Haven homes in mid-March. It was just a few days before the borders began closing and flights were canceled on a very large scale due to the coronavirus. This is our kids in Savarsay. When we travel together, I'm always so impressed with how well the children do at finding amazing things to play with and games and activities, like these little boys in Hyderabad. And they were very excited that the staff thought that these tires had no more life left in them and got some new tires, but the boys decided they had quite a few more miles. And so they had a great time playing with them for hours on end. The great thing about these wheels is when your engine gets overheated, you can sit down and take a rest. The girls were much more enchanted with some new hula hoops and no less energetic. These hula hoops put on quite a few miles as well. I could tell you more about our trip, but it's happening since then that I'd like to start with. Upon our return to Canada, we heard from our staff in India and Nepal that closing schools and children's homes would be part of the proposed lockdown to slow the spread of the coronavirus. Local officials contacted and came to our homes, insisting that the children must be sent out. Our staff patiently told them that our homes were the safest place for these children and that They were there either because they did not have any family or their families did not have adequate food, clean water, or a safe place for them to live. Nonetheless, rules are rules, so negotiations began as to who could stay and who had some family member who'd be able to take them temporarily till the crisis was over. This varied from home to home, with as many as a half or 2/3 of the children being sent to stay with relatives. Our home staff have stayed in careful communication with all our children and provided food and support as needed. Our home in Bangladesh was permitted to keep all of our children, as was our Maitreya home in Delhi. All the homes have instituted careful safety measures involving washing hands often, children not going, and staff members leaving the homes as little as possible. Visitors are not permitted unless absolutely essential and must wash when they enter the compounds. So far, as Dr. Shaw mentioned, everyone has remained free of the virus. A big change has been that schools everywhere have been closed. While staff and the older children have helped with maintaining some study time, there have been lots of other activities. At our home in Kathmandu, the older children and staff decided to make a garden in the vacant lot next door. They're now harvesting greens from the plot to supplement meals. There's also been lots of times for crafts and sewing and computer lessons in the new computer lab, which luckily was set up shortly before the lockdown. The computers and renovations were funded by some of you through our needs chart. I should also mention that our cooks were very excited about the new chapati grill purchased with funds from Calgary's needs chart last year. It can cook 10 or 12 chapatis at a time, which makes a huge difference when you're cooking several hundred. With fewer children and no school, there has been time for building maintenance and other painting projects that had previously been put on the back burner. Here's a picture of the older boys helping to clean the gutters over the dining hall building with help from the staff. This is something they're very careful to do when Bonnie Ma is not visiting the home. At the Maitreya home for Tibetan refugee children, there's been more time for learning Tibetan language taught by the home's manager, Tendak. How impressive to be able to learn to speak and write such a beautiful language. At our Chittagong home in Bangladesh, the children were able to remain at the home, but of course with no school, they found other ways to use their time. Always well used is the playground equipment in the home's courtyard, purchased and installed with the help of the Bura family there in Calgary. These girls are looking especially resplendent in their dresses. Also very handsome are these boys who decided that since the barbershops were closed, they would cut their own hair. Great job, guys. The fellow in the middle is Lal Kunai. And here is a picture of him zooming with Bilal, one of the home's tutors, who is helping him prepare for his grade 10 exam. Lal Kunai did very well on his exams, and we're most grateful to Bilal for helping to coach and inspire our young people to excel on these critically important exams. The funds to pay Bilal and our other tutors came in part from donations to support our tutors made on the needs chart at our last Calgary dinner. Another example of how your contributions are making a tangible difference in the lives of these children. Thank you. Another stellar effort that this home is making has been providing support to the low-income families living nearby. As the lockdown in Bangladesh took hold, our staff became aware that many of our neighbors were struggling without enough food to eat. After millions of women and men were laid off their jobs in garment factories and elsewhere, people who survived from paycheck to paycheck have been in an extremely desperate situation. In response, our staff members each chipped in 10% of their salary, and with help from the children, packed 60 bags full of rice, lentils, and vegetables to distribute to families in need. Many of them are families who send their children at a nominal tuition fee to our home school. After hearing about this effort, Child Haven has taken over funding these distributions as needed. In Kaliampundi has responded similarly. This is food about to be taken to another children's home not far from ours that recently lost its funding and was having a hard time feeding our children. The tomatoes in the foreground are from our home's garden, which with extra hands is producing mightily. Our women's training programs in Ghaziabad near Delhi and Rohan in the Punjab are also supporting their neighbors. They're using their tailoring skills to produce face masks, which they distribute free of charge to the low-income individuals in their neighborhoods who cannot afford to purchase them. With some of the lockdowns coming to a close, children who had to leave are beginning to return to the homes. She and all the other new children are fitting in well to their new Child Haven family. With an ever-mounting death toll from the virus and an increasingly destitute population, we are anticipating that our homes will be asked to take more children into our care in the coming months. With your help, we hope to be able to meet that need as best we are able to. The recent focus in North America on the devastating impact of prejudice and systemic racism in our communities has inspired us to redouble our efforts to affirm in all of our homes that every child of every color, economic background, caste, religion, and gender are of immense value. This is a core principle of Child Haven. Here is our All India board member, Dr. Shilpa Narayanan, leading a workshop for our children in Hyderabad. Her workshop led the children in affirming the beauty in everyone. She led one for the boys and one for the girls. We've also arranged for the Chennai-based group Dark is Beautiful to conduct workshops in our Kaliampundi home. We've also had workshops on preventing caste discrimination. We are most fortunate to have beautiful children and staff of a great multiplicity of skin tones and backgrounds in our homes. With your support, Child Haven will continue to demonstrate the power of active love and compassion. Child Haven remains a testament to the idea that every child deserves loving care and that when they receive it, they will thrive, grow, and flourish, in turn going on to support, uplift their families and their communities. Calgary friends, for 23 years, you have made this transformative work possible. On behalf of all of our children and the loving staff who care for them, we thank you for your compassion, generosity, and support. Know that your contributions are making a huge difference in a great many lives. Until next year in Calgary, thanks again.
Okay, up next, I am super excited to introduce the beautiful and talented children of Kaliampundi. So next we are going to travel north from our Kaliampundi home in Tamil Nadu all the way to Bangladesh, to our Chittagong home. We are in for a special performance. It is a bamboo dance. Now I am going to turn it over to Seraphin and Lachlan for a Q&A.
We're wondering, what is the children's favorite activity?
Thank you, everyone. Here in Bangladesh, Chittagong, lockdown started from March 17. From that very day, we have closed our home also, and we have stopped our Muntasiri school there. And after that, all the teachers and the outside staff are not coming, so we have planned many things like children. We have arranged some activities like. Debate program, dance program, and cultural program, and also our home staff. We are trying to keep them to learn through internet. So it's very nice in lockdown though.
I have one for Ganesh. What is your favorite part of working for Child Haven?
Oh, it's not particular. Everything, children activities, being with them and taking care of their challenging, and then sharing our love each other as a family. So it's lots of things to describe, in a family.
Thank you, Seraphin and Lachlan, for helping us increase our knowledge and awareness of the Child Haven organization, as well as the Kaliampundi and Chittagong homes. On behalf of the Calgary Child Haven Committee, I want to thank you for making this night and all of our efforts a success. And of course, I will leave the last word and the final good night of the evening with Bonnie and Fred.
So we'll have to do this again sometime, but I hope we can have a dinner in person next time. So we'll see you all.
Thank you very much, everybody.